Okay. All right, Colin, you ready to jump in and give us your report?
Absolutely. To start, Jenny mentioned that we were awarded the DLTA award. She didn't mention that it was $30,000, which is a substantial sum. And the benefit, of course, is that NIMCOG has helped us with our first housing production plan, and so they're very familiar with the challenges we face in Tyngsborough and with that plan. So if we had to hire a consultant outside of NIMCOG for this work, it certainly would be much more than $30,000. So that's a big win for the town. Just a reminder that early voting for the March 5th presidential primary is currently happening. Voters can vote early here at Town Hall tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Wednesday 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Thursday from 8:30 to 4 p.m. Last week, I met with staff from Representative Trahan's office to talk about priorities for Tyngsborough. We emphasized the need for infrastructure funding, specifically around roads, and the need for federal funding to help spur a larger state investment in public facilities in a similar way that the state currently funds public school projects. On the DPW, the new DPW pre-engineered steel building, we received one response on the design contract. It came from Soco Tech, which has done probably 5 or 6 contracts in Tyngsborough in the last 10 years, including the First Parish, the Old Town Hall, and they're currently working on the Winslow School. We just began the fee negotiation phase, so I expect that in the next week or so we'll have a contract in place. It's a pre-engineered building, so the design part won't take a heck of a bit long. So that project will move along nicely. On March 5th, I'll attend the Finance Committee meeting with David and Kat to present our fiscal 25 budget. The same stuff that you've seen up until today and a presentation that we'll give a little bit later, just to make sure that they're on the same page. And it's at that same meeting that we'll present the proposed capital plan for fiscal 25. We are currently in our last year of the contract for trash hauling with Republic Services. Earlier this year, we signed a new 5-year contract with Covanta, which is the waste receiver. Republic takes our trash to Covanta and they dispose of it. In order to ensure that we're receiving a competitive rate from Republic, we are meeting tomorrow with E.L. Harvey, which is another big competitor in our area. They just picked up a contract in Westford, so they are trying to plant their roots here in Tyngsborough. Last year we looked into this. The cost savings weren't enough to justify a move, but given their large investment in their fleet to service Westford, and the fact that we no longer have the 1-year extension option with Republic, we'd have to commit to a 5-year. It's in our best interest to just make sure that we're getting competitive rates. So at the next board meeting, depending on how it goes, I'll ask for some guidance, probably an executive session. Today we received a copy of our annual report from Freedom Energy. They're the company that handles the municipal accounts for energy aggregation. So we have one account for residential aggregation. If we added our municipal accounts because of the usage, it would have driven up the price that residents are paying. So instead, we shopped separately for that. However, even with our separate shopping, we saved $21,000 last year in electricity just in town buildings. And as you'll remember, a couple of months ago now, we signed a contract for a similar program for gas supply. So I expect that next year when we get our annual report, it'll be at least double, if not higher than that $21,000. Tyngsborough Media has launched a new podcast series entitled Tyngsborough Vibes, which is intended to be a fun way to get to know town officials by highlighting their music playlists, so some of you may be contacted. Their first series launched last week. It was my fantastic playlist. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, and iHeart. And there's also now a link on the town's new website for all the podcasts that they're putting together, which really is designed to take the content that people can see on a computer and make it more accessible. So if you have a commute to work, if you're on the train, if you're traveling, you can listen to all things Tyngsborough because we know that's what people want, obviously. On Friday, I will attend the MMA's legislative breakfast in North Andover to talk to legislative leaders about municipal legislative priorities, including many of the local reforms, including Governor Healey's Municipal Empowerment Act, amongst including new revenue options for the town that also dealt with extensions on some of the COVID era, we keep calling it, accommodations around outdoor dining, making temporary modifications permanent, making remote meetings permanent, all the like. I do want to take a minute to just acknowledge Jackie's hard work. Eric had a chance to see what is almost the finished product on the annual town report. We've received all of our board, committee, and department reports, and Jackie is now, I think, on version 2 of the nearly complete product, which really, again, I've talked about this before, but the more I look at the finished product, takes all of the information that I think people want to see in the annual report and highlights it. In the past, our annual report was great, but the information was buried. It was in paragraph form. There were no pictures. This will encourage people to look at it, and you'll be able to very quickly identify what are you trying to tell me and what is the message. So Jackie's worked very hard on it. It's been a painstaking process because she's got it perfected, and so people just send her the stuff and she formats it, but it looks fantastic. We're going to have limited copies available just in an effort to be sustainable, but of course we'll have it available electronically, and upon request we'll provide additional copies. And then I just wanted to note that earlier today I received the quarterly update from the Tyngsborough Public Library. I've added it to your packet if you wanted to look at it. This quarter they held 43 programs, which saw a total of 806 people in attendance, circulated 20,000 items, and saw over 10,000 patrons through the front doors. They've done a great job of expanding the program offerings, and so you might have noticed they ventured out to hosting a lot of them at the Old Town Hall. So it gives them more room to host events, and it's also utilizing one of our public buildings much more. So kudos to them. That's all I've got.
Excellent. So, Kat, why don't we go to yours, and then we'll open up to the board for questions, comments.
That's good. I only have a few things. Invitation for bids were released for the 2024 Road Improvement Project Phase 1 on Wednesday, February 21st. Bids for this project are due March 13th. And then lastly, we received one proposal for the economic development brochures, request for proposals. This response came from the designers, a graphic design company located here in Tyngsborough.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, I will open it up to the board. Questions, comments on the updates?
None for me.
None here.
Just to echo what Colin said, I have seen the annual report, and it looks fantastic. Jackie has done a tremendous job on it. Her attention to detail and just getting to like the important stuff, right? There's a lot of information that's there, and I think people are gonna like the new format where, you know, at the bottom in blue, there's some key numbers that people, there's just a lot of stuff, and how do you boil down, I don't know how many pages this one's gonna end up being, but I went through the one from last year, and it's this big, thick piece of paper, and it's like, all right, just give it to me in the important stuff, and it's much more easily digested. So great job, Jackie. I think people are gonna be happy. So I know they'll be happy. It is fantastic looking, and I appreciate all your efforts so far, because it has been a lot. I was shocked at how much was there.
She'll have a table at town meeting signing them.
That would be fantastic.
Can I just
Let's
say
make it
that
happen.
Please.
this was really an effort that the department heads and groups really did a great job getting this information to me quickly and timely, and helping with pictures and helping. So really, thank you for the kudos, but this is really the effort of everybody else who put the reports together.
Yeah, it doesn't take a village, it takes a town, right? And, but getting all those people coordinated in a relatively short period of time, I know there was a couple things where I was like, you sent a reminder, uh-oh, I gotta get on this. So I appreciate that, and everybody else for pulling together the information. That's it, that's all I got for that one.